that's what I mean by resentment. You guys start positioning yourselves higher than the other, or you just start disconnecting altogether and conflict continues. Ever feel like you're in a constant competition between your career and your husband's patience? Your kids think you work too hard, but hey, you're doing it all for them, right? The struggle is real, and I've been there too. Moments of feeling like a crappy mom and wife because once again, your kids had breakfast on their way to school, and you've got more important things on your plate than cooking and cleaning. Hey there, working moms who are juggling a million things and still wondering if you're doing it right. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a mama of 3, and married for 24 years. Welcome to the Empowered and Unapologetic podcast, where we dive deep into the messy, chaotic, and sometimes hilarious world of mastering motherhood, marriage, and business. I get it. Balancing it all was never the goal, but here we are, trying anyway. I'm here to share my journey and guide you through yours. No more apologies for being driven, and definitely no compromises on your dreams. Together, we'll navigate the challenges of being a powerhouse in both business and family life. Join me as we tackle the uncomfortable conversations from being the breadwinner to changing the rules of what a marriage looks like. Let's figure out how to parent in a working parent household without the constant arguments or guilt. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and this is Empowered and Unapologetic, where we embrace the chaos, challenge the norms, and strive to live life on our own terms. Get ready for some real talk, actionable tips, and a few laughs along the way. If I asked you which one excites you more, your career or your marriage, what would you say? I want you to be honest. So let's think about this question for a minute. If I asked you which one excites you more, your career or your marriage, what would you say? Now, a good amount of you are probably struggling right now. And your reason for struggling might not be because you don't know what the answer is. It might be because you're afraid. You're afraid to say that answer out loud. When you wake up in the morning, are you looking forward to a strategy meeting, a new project, a client win? Or are you looking forward to spending time with your husband? If your career gives you more fulfillment than your marriage, you are not alone. You are not alone. In fact, this is something I hear from high achieving women all of the time. But here's the hard truth. What starts as an I'll focus on my relationship later mindset slowly turns into a marriage that feels like a business transaction. So today we're going hard. We're going hardcore. And we're digging into how we got here, what the warning signs are, why this happens, and what you need to do to save your relationship before it's too late. And let me be clear, this is not about choosing between your career and your marriage. This is about learning how to have both without losing yourself in the process. A good amount of women have opened up to me and have said out loud, I've lost myself. I've lost myself as a mom. I've lost myself as a wife. And I struggle with knowing who the hell I am. I don't know who I am. I know who I need to be, but I don't know who I am. And I can understand how that scares the shit out of you. So let's talk about how did we get here? I want you to think back to when you first started dating your husband. Remember those early days? The excitement, the curiosity, the deep talks, the feeling that you mattered to him, the flirting, the passionate kisses. Oh, and the sex. Oh, and the sex. His touch. Remember when his touch would literally send chills down your spine. Now compare that to today. Maybe the chills down your spine are a little different now. And maybe they're attached to you feeling like you want to shake the shit out of him. How different does it feel? For a lot of women, marriage starts out as a partnership, but slowly turns into another responsibility. Instead of romance, you're managing schedules. Instead of connecting, you're coexisting. You're roommates. And you tell yourself, well, this is just what happens in marriage, right? Wrong. Completely wrong. Here's what's really happening. Your career fills a void that your marriage no longer does. Because at work, you're valued, you're heard, your ideas matter, you're appreciated. At home, you feel like another item on the to-do list. Your husband doesn't check in with you. He used to. Remember those days? You feel like everything falls on you. Dinner, the kids, doctor appointments, sports activities, the planning. So naturally, you throw yourself into work. You go back into that work mode mindset at home because work makes you feel important. But in the process, your marriage starts running on autopilot. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is so dangerous. The red flags, signs your career is outshining your marriage. I want you to grab a pen and paper right now because you're definitely going to want to take notes. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. Start with this one. Do you light up when you talk about work, but feel drained when talking to your husband? Do you spend more time texting coworkers and working and checking emails than engaging with your husband? When something big happens, is your first instinct to share it with your husband or your boss and your team instead? Do you feel more seen and validated at work than you do at home? Are your conversations with your husband mostly logistics? Who's picking up the kids? What bills need to be paid? What's for dinner? If any of this resonates, listen up. You're not failing, but you know I'm going to challenge you. And you know I'm going to call you out. Mama, you are avoiding. And avoidance isn't the slowest, quickest way a marriage falls apart. Correction. Avoidance is the slowest, quietest way a marriage falls apart. Why does this happen? Well, let's talk about that validation gap. This isn't just about work, it's about validation. So, oftentimes, people don't understand what validation means, and that's okay. I'm going to give you a quick example. Validation is, remember when you were a kid and you would say, I'm hungry. And your mom or dad would say, what do you mean you're hungry? You just ate. That's invalidation. Validation is when you express maybe a feeling, right? An emotion, and it's validated. Nobody's trying to change it. Nobody's trying to tell you you're wrong. It's validating your existence, validating that whatever you're experiencing is true for you, even if they maybe not be experiencing the same thing. So this isn't just about work. At work, you get positive feedback, you get promotions, a clear path forward. In addition to that, if you're running a business, you see the level of excitement in your team, right? You see the numbers changing and they're increasing. More clients are coming your way, right? Your work colleagues are acknowledging your success. Maybe you're in magazines. Maybe you hit a 1,000 likes, or maybe your videos went viral. Like, all of that feels validating. What I'm doing, what I'm experiencing right now is validated by somebody else. Somebody else is saying, yes, you're a freaking rock star, right? So those positive feedbacks, that promotion, that high five, those acknowledgments are so important. However, at home, you might be met with expectations. You might be met with a routine. You might be met with a partner who feels more like a roommate, a coworker, than a lover, a best friend. And here's where it gets dangerous, because as this cycle continues, two things happen. Write this down. You start resenting your husband for not seeing you anymore. He starts resenting you for choosing work over him. This has happened to me.
I know looking for the right therapist can be challenging. However, feeling overwhelmed and disconnected is even harder. Life is filled with several twists and turns, some more severe than others. We do our best to handle them as they come and find ourselves at a loss, not knowing what to do or who to turn to. The clinicians here at Outside the Norm Counseling are here to help. We are here to assist you through this time of need. Together, we will identify your strengths and goals and teach you healthy coping skills. Together, we will develop a plan to help you live the life you want to live. Our team is compassionate, genuine, and we take a great deal of pride in providing an empathetic, non-judgmental approach to all of our clients. It's time! You've waited long enough, whether it be for you, your child, or if you're in need of a couple session. We are highly trained clinicians ready to guide you. Schedule an appointment now by calling 951-395-3288. Again, that number is 951-395-3288. We're looking forward to meeting you and being a part of your journey.
So why does this happen? Well, let's talk about the validation gap. So for those of you guys that don't know what validation is, let me go ahead and entertain you for a quick minute and provide you with more or less a definition, more of an example, really. So I want you to think back when you were a kid, right? And maybe you told your parents, hey, you know what? I'm really hungry. They looked at you and said, you're not hungry, you just ate. How has that happened in your life? You know, I'm really struggling. What do you mean you're struggling? You did it last time. What's the big deal? That is what's called invalidation. Validation is when someone says, dang, you're really struggling. That must be so tough for you right now. You're hungry? Yeah, let's go get something to eat. Or why don't you go ahead and get something to eat, take a lunch, and then we'll circle back to this later. That's validation. It's somebody saying that what you're experiencing is true. We want to be careful and not be too dependent on other people's validation, because that's when we start compromising ourselves to meet other people's needs. And that's what we don't want to do. However, validation feels great. And when there's that validation gap, well, that's when it really takes a toll on the relationship. So this isn't just about work. It's truly about validation. At work, you get positive feedback, promotions, a clear path. Company wins. Your numbers maybe are exceeding. Maybe your video went viral. Maybe you got 1,000 likes. Whatever that is, there's some level of validation. People are saying that what you're putting down, they're picking up, right? Like there's this feeling of achievement, success. However, at home, you might be met with expectations. You might be met with a routine. You might be met with a partner who feels more like a coworker than a lover. And here's where it gets dangerous, because as this cycle continues, two things happen. Two things happen. Write these things down. You start resenting your husband for not seeing you anymore. Second, he starts resenting you for choosing work over him. And you all know I've struggled with this personally. My husband has point blank told me, I'm tired of competing with your career. And I'm not going to lie. I wish I said this nicer, but I'm going to give it to you straight because you guys know I'm really transparent. I basically told him to suck it up. I sucked it up when you were in Afghanistan for 7 months. I sucked it up when you were in Iraq for 7 months. I sucked it up when I was in grad school and I was in a full-time internship while having 3 kids and you were away in Japan. So guess what, homeboy? Suck it up. That wasn't necessarily the best thing to say. And did that hurt my marriage? Oh, you bet your ass. We'll talk about that next time. But that's what I mean by resentment. You guys start positioning yourselves higher than the other, or you just start disconnecting altogether and conflict continues. And how you know it's gotten really, really bad? is when you stop caring and you no longer argue. Here's where I'm going to push you. Are you truly inviting your husband into your world? And don't tell me, yes, of course I am, but he's blah, 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 blah. No, 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 no. Are you truly inviting your husband into your world? Or are you expecting him to just figure it out? Because sometimes we assume our husbands don't care when really we haven't been including them in our wins, in our struggles, in our world. The same way you fight for a seat at the table in your career, have you been making space for your husband at your table? I'm going to say that again for the people in the cheap seats. Have you been making space for your husband at your table? Or are you too busy filling it with everything else? What we need to do, this is where the hard work begins. Here's where we shift from awareness to action. Number one, if you aren't writing it down, girl, don't make me come over and shake ya. Write this down. Number one, get honest about your resentment. What exactly are you resenting your husband for? Are you waiting for him to fix it instead of telling him what you need? Start acknowledging what he does do. I know you feel unseen, but are you seeing him? What if you started appreciating what he does? I know I'm going to get a lot of shit from this. What are you talking about, Veronica? Now I have to praise him. He hasn't done shit. I'm the default parent. Whoa, 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 whoa. Are we working on your relationship or not? Do you want me to help you or not? Write this shit down. And I want you to pay attention to how you're showing up. Like I said, number two, start acknowledging what he does. I promise you, as you start acknowledging what he does, admiration and fondness, Gottman talks about all the time. Admiration and fondness. Once you start admiring and showing some level of fondness over what he does, I can promise you he will start doing the same. You guys are both resenting each other right now. So the last thing you guys want to do is acknowledge each other. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. I don't give a shit. If you want a divorce, all right, cool. We'll go down that route. That's another podcast episode. But I want you to think, is divorce what you want? Or you want change? Is that what you're longing for? Do you want that flirtation? Do you want that curiosity? Do you want that feeling back? Do you want your best friend back? All right, homegirl, let's do the work. I know you feel unseen. But again, are you seeing him? What if you started appreciating what he does? I know I just said this. I'm saying this again. Instead of focusing on what he lacks. The way the brain works, I haven't said this in a long time, but for the ones that haven't been following me, the way your brain works, it attaches itself to negative memories like Velcro, and it attaches itself to positive memories like Teflon. So guess what? Your brain automatically goes to all of the shit that he hasn't done, all of the times that he's hurt you, all of the things that you felt unseen for. That's where your brain goes. Guess what? His brain does the same thing. We got to train your brain to go ahead and acknowledge all of the good things. Why? Because it doesn't come up for you as much. And I'm going to tell you, you not being able to recall good memories is 1,000% a sign that your marriage is on the verge of divorce, or on that path at least. 3, rebuild your connection like you would in your career. You don't land clients without nurturing the relationship. Why do you expect your marriage to stay strong without intentional effort? Make space for him again. That is number 4. Your calendar is full. I get it. Now, does it include him? There was this woman, I always forget her name. I need to write it down and like put it somewhere. But she asked me, as well as my audience, she was on my podcast, and she asked me, does your calendar match your values? Holy shit, that hit me like a ton of bricks. Does your calendar match your values? I get your calendar's full. Now look at it. Does it include him? Have you created moments where you two aren't just parents, co-workers, or problem solvers, but partners, true partners? When's the last time you had a date night? Now ask yourself why it's been so long that you've had the date night. If you're feeling like work is more fulfilling than your marriage, I need you to hear this. Your career doesn't have to come at the cost of your marriage. Let me say that again. Your career doesn't have to come at the cost of your marriage. But if you don't take action, if you don't start making shifts, your marriage will continue to suffer. And here's where I challenge you. What's one thing you can do today to reconnect with your partner? What's one conversation you've been avoiding? Are you willing to fight for your marriage the way you fight for your success? Because your marriage deserves that effort. You, my friend, deserve that effort. And listen, if this episode spoke to you, if you feel seen, if you know you need help navigating this exact struggle, that's exactly why I created Empower X. Empower X is where high achieving women learn how to balance their career without sacrificing their marriage. They learn how to communicate their needs without resentment. We work on that. I teach you how to work on that. Reconnect with your partner without losing themselves. You don't have to do this alone. You can have both a thriving marriage and a successful career. I am 1,000% proof. So if you're ready to stop feeling like you have to choose, go to veronicacisneros.org/EmpowerX. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/EmpowerX. It will be in the show notes. Your career can't hold you at night. Your career can't love you back. But a strong, healthy, connected marriage, that, my friend, can. Let's do this work together. Raise your hand if you are ready to level up your marriage for 2023. Do you find that you're spending your time together with your husband checked out and in front of the TV? I know you're ready for tangible strategies that actually get you results. Reignite the spark in your marriage, have fun, and grow together. Well, I hope you have your hand raised at this minute because I have something special for you. I'm introducing my brand new 6-question marriage predictor quiz that's gonna give you personalized results to catapult you into the next stage of your marriage journey. That means you'll receive the results to where your marriage can get the best help. If you've got just 1 minute, head to veronicacisneros.org/quiz. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, and you could take my brand new quiz, Marriage Predictor. Get your results delivered right to your email address. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, veronicacisneros.org/quiz. What's up, ladies? Just want to let you guys know that your ratings and reviews for this podcast are greatly appreciated. If you love this podcast, please go to iTunes right now, write a review, rate the episode, and subscribe. Don't forget to share it with your friends.